When we are working with BODMAS, that includes fractions, decimals, percentages, whatever else it might include, the BODMAS rules will still apply. So we've still got to use our brackets first, or work with our brackets first, then our of, and then whichever one comes first between division and multiplication, because remember, division and multiplication have equal weighting. So because maths is like a language, we work from left to right. If multiplication comes before division, then you will do your multiplication before division. And in the same way, addition and subtraction also have an equal weighting. So whichever one of these comes first, that's the one that you will calculate first. Right, so let's keep this in mind and let's have a look at some examples of BODMAS that do include fractions, decimals, and percentages. Right, so if we've got 5/8 of 32 plus 16, right, we obviously would like to do our brackets first. So we would like to do our of first. So we are going to put our brackets around the calculation that we would like to work out first, because that just helps us a little bit. And then we can bring it down. So we can write 5/8. We can convert our of into 8 times and put our 32/1, just for the sake of working out. And then what I'd like you to do is just always bring down your 16. Your plus 16. Right, and then we can cross cancel here with our 8 and our 32. So 8 goes into itself once, and 8 goes into 32 4 times. And 5 times 4 is equal to 20, and 1 times 1 is equal to 1. So we've got an answer here of 20/1, which we know is just equal to 20. And then we plus our 16. So we end up with an answer of 36. Right, let's have a look at another example. And I always just write BODMAS at the top of my page just to remind me of my order of operations. So this is number 2 now. So if we've got 0.4 plus 1.2 in brackets and we're minusing 1/4. Right, so obviously we're going to be doing our brackets first. So we can just do some working out on the side. 0.4 plus 1.2. It's always best to show all your working so that you can at least get part marks if you don't get the calculation correct. So 4 plus 2 is equal to 6. Remember, we bring down our decimal point. 0 plus 1 is 1, so we've got 1.6. And we're minusing 1/4. Now, we don't want to be working with both decimals and fractions, so we need to either convert our decimal into a fraction or our fraction into a decimal. And because we know that 1/4 is equal to 25/100, because we multiply 4 by 25 to get 100, and we multiply 25 by 1 to get 25. And 25/100, remember, is 25.0 divided by 100. So we bring in 1, 2 decimal places, and we get an answer of 0.25. So what we can do here is convert our 1/4 into a decimal, because that's quite simple. But what we could also have done is converted 1.6 into a fraction, which would have been 16/10. And 16/10 we can simplify. We can divide them both by 2 to get 8/5. But that's a slightly longer process, excuse me, because then you need to work out 8/5 minus 1/4, get your common denominator when we're minusing fractions and all the rest. So it's actually easier to work with 1.6 minus 0.25, and we can work that out on the side. We've got our 1.6 there, and we minus 0.25, we put in our placeholder and we work it out. So we borrow from our 6, we borrow 1 from our 6, we carry it over. 10 minus 5 is 5, 5 minus 2 is 3, bring down our decimal point, 1 minus 0 is 1. So we end up with an answer of 1.35. Right, so I'm just going to write my BODMAS up there again so that we can have a look at the order of operations if we get confused. Let's have a look at number 3. 102 to the power of 0 and the square root of that. And then we plus 25% of 64. Right, so now we need to decide what we are going to do first here. We know we've got of, so let's do our of first. We can put brackets around that. What I'd like you to do is always just bring down all the parts of your question so that you don't leave it out at the end, because it might just be tempting to work out 25% of 64, put your answer down and then completely forget to plus that to 100, the square root of 102 to the power of 0. So we've got 102 to the power of 0 plus, then we've got our 25% of 64. So let's just have a look. How else can we write 25% to make it easier when we are multiplying by a whole number? What we can do is convert our 25% into a simplified fraction, which would be 1/4. We can replace our of with a multiplication sign, and we can put our 64, our whole number, over 1. So we're multiplying with fractions now, which we should be comfortable with. Right, so now I can cross cancel as well. I've got a 6 and 64. 4 goes into itself once, and 4 fits into 64 16 times. 1 times 1 is 1, so we've got 1 as our denominator, and 1 times 16 is 16. So we end up with 16 over 1, or just 16, and we remember to bring down the square root of 102 to the power of 0. Right, now let's have a look at 102 to the power of 0, because we need to work out the square root of that. So we should know that any number to the power of 0, no matter what number it is, as long as that number is put to the power of 0 over there, that answer will be 1. And then we're plussing our 16. And now we need to work out the square root of 1. The square root of 1 is 1, and that is because 1 times 1 is equal to 1. And then we plus our 16, which gives us an answer of 17.